But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son. It's your kinfolk, William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating rap. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn all the notifications on so you can get all the new content when I post it. I just came here to articulate and give you my detail from a telescopic and microscopic view from close up and far away. My perspective of hip hop, and not just hip hop, music, R&B, hip hop and R&B, because they go together like the yin and the yang, right? And when we talk about R&B, when we talk about artists that I really like, two of my favorite R&B artists, one of all time, one of this era, Brent Faiyaz, icon. And this was United Masters. I heard he had just signed to Rock Nation, but when he dropped this album, I saw that it was on United Masters. So let's keep that in perspective when we talk about this album. I don't know if this was executive produced by Raphael Sadiq, right? I heard that rumor too as well. So I don't know. I'm going to look it up. But Icon. And when I think about Icon, I think about Brent's evolution. I think about his evolution, right? Raphael Sadiq is the executive producer of Brent Faiyaz's third studio album, Icon, released on February 13, 2026. The 10-track project features production from Benny Blanco, Chad Hugo, okay, and Tommy Richmond, with mixing and mastering by Mike Dean. So ISO Supremacy, it was released via ISO Supremacy and Untitled Master. So when I think about the production, like the production of this album was great. It really gave us that R&B vibe, right? But for some reason, like the substance kind of hit a little bit different. And like I could tell like Raphael Sadiq was kind of behind this just because of the substance, because of what Brent was trying to accomplish on this album. Like you could hear like pieces of his old melody, of his old ways of singing, background vocals, and the things that he does with his production. You could see some of his old ways, but on some of these new tracks, you could tell like this was really produced. This was meant to be something that could go. And when we think about Strangers, Wrong Faces, Vanilla Sky, when we think about some of the tracks, I did like some of the tracks, but for the most part, I didn't love this album, right? I didn't love this album. 10 tracks, short and sweet. What happened to Peter Pan? Tony Soprano, what happened to the singles that he put out? Like, I wish they were on this album. I wish I could have heard some of them at a right in a certain place, right? They were Lucy's. He released them around July the 4th. And like I was excited for Brent. Like he kind of teased that he was dropping the album like a couple weeks before. So I mean, for this being one of my favorite R&B artists, like we talk about Leon Thomas, we talk about Leon Bridges, we can go to Sir, we can go to Daniel Caesar, but I would say Brent Faiyaz is probably one of my top 5 male R&B singers in this era, right? And I'm not gonna say all time, but in this era for sure. And just based off what I've known him for, as far as the toxic lyrics, as far as the toxicity that he brings, like it brings a flair. It brings something to his musicality, and I feel like that substance was missing. And we talk about lovers. We talk about wanting to bring the love back to R&B. We talk about wanting to bring that Valentine's feel, Cupid's arrow, Cupid. Uh, 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 when you wanna let you give it a try. Like when we think about those type of love songs, right? Music Soul Child, Love, Luther Vandross, right? When we think about those type of artists, we think about the pureness of R&B. We think about like the essence of R&B, and I think Brent was trying to deliver that essence of R&B, but I kind of think he did himself a disservice when he didn't engage in the toxicity that is his brand, because it's something about those lyrics that kind of speaks to the toxicity within us, that speaks to the different perspectives that we feel about women, and Brent is able to give that different perspective. And to be honest, whether we was trying to woo a woman, make love to a woman, or beg and plead and try to get that woman back, like that still exists. But at the same time, I think his older substance was more realistic to truly what the mind of a man goes through when it comes to courting a woman, being with a woman, and just being a star, right? Being somebody that is in the limelight and dealing with women when you're a man of your caliber, when you're a high value man. And like, I think that's what we related to with Brett the most. And like, that's his superpower. And I feel like when he made those Lover Boy songs, I liked them. I appreciated him, but I feel like he took a little bit of his superpower away, right? By doing that. And I don't hate this album. I don't love this album. This is not a bad album. I don't think there were any bad songs, but I think that like it doesn't have the luster. It doesn't have the feel that a normal Brent album would have. And maybe because I'm a fan of his, of his beginnings, and maybe I can't see him outside of that reflection. But for me, this this wasn't even Larger Than Life. When we think about Larger Than Life was cool, but like I think the last two albums, I needed more. I wanted more, and I expected more. And there's a standard there that he's already set when he gave us Sonder, when he gave us Fuck the World. Like there's just a bar that he set, and if he doesn't get there, then to me it's a disappointment. So from that standpoint, I think this album would be safe to say it's a disappointment, but I don't think it's a bad album. And maybe if I listen more to it, right, and I can come back next week and kind of tell y'all how I feel if I listen more to it, maybe it might change my perspective, but I haven't wanted to go back to it. So we'll see. We'll see. But one album that made me wanted to go back to was Jill Scott, To Whom This May Concern. And when we talk about classic Jill Scott, let's take a long walk at the park after dark. Find a spot for us to spark a conversation. Nah, Jill Scott different. Jill Scott different. Her vocals, her range. Like, I've seen Jill Scott perform live at the Essence Fest. I've seen Jill Scott perform live in Grand Prairie, Texas. I've seen Jill Scott, like her highs and her lows, from overweight and obese to a little bit slender on the Tyler Perry movies. I saw her get her weight back, but just like Luther Vandross, I mean, Big Jill is a big deal. Jilly from Philly. And when I heard Pay You on Tuesday, them nigga blues, when I heard Ode to Nikki, the spoken word with Ab Soul, it just gives me these different dimensions of Jill Scott that I wasn't necessarily expecting, but I was surprised and happy to hear, right? And when we just talk about the album from beginning to end, it was like it just made me like tune in more. It got me more interested. It got me more involved. Features from Trombone Shorty, features with JID, like, and even the Too Short, biggest pimp of the year, like that was something that caught me by surprise, but I really enjoyed it. And Jill Scott, she had fun with this album. You could tell like she had fun crafting and curating this album and structuring this album and using her vocal range, but also the live sounds, the live band instruments, and but also just like finding her own pocket, finding her own brand, her own self, and giving her fans what they expect out of her, but also kind of like giving us a little bit of everything, showcasing her talent, showcasing her skills. And like this was something that I really enjoyed. This was something I really enjoyed. And sidebar, the last Jill Scott concert I went to, I got into a little fender bender. I had a little bit too much to drink. I think I was probably 26 around the time, 20, 26. And traffic was tight coming out of the concert. And I barely touched the car, right? And me and my girl, me and my wife now, we had got into it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, why you let me drive drunk? You should have been driving. She was like, no, you act like you wasn't gonna let me drive. I was like, come on now, you should have took the keys. Like, why? So like that was a big ordeal. So when I think about Jill Scott concerts, I always think about that fender bender and the altercation between me and the missus. But we good now. We good now. So to whom this may concern, like I probably didn't speak on it as much as I spoke on Brent, but you know, I really love this album. I think this was great for neo soul, if you want to call that. And funny enough, Raphael Sadiq, when I looked at a D'Angelo documentary, he didn't like the name neo soul. He was like, this is nothing new about soul. Soul has always been soul music, but what music she makes, Erica Badu, Music Soul Child, D'Angelo, India Ari, it has been coined neo soul. So I would be a fool to disregard that, but also respect to Raphael because he's one of the man that has helped D'Angelo craft neo soul. And we think about Angie Stone and D'Angelo's passing last year, like, and then we just think about Jill coming with this neo soul essence on this album and really just bringing it back to life. Like, this is what I miss about R&B music. This is what I miss about neo soul music. Just that foundation, the roots, the grassroots, like just that blueprint of truly how we got to soul music and how it became nuanced, how it became new, how it became fluid, flowetry type shit, like just like snap, like that type of music. Like I just miss that feel, that vibe, and like Jill is bringing it back, and she's healing us, like through our grieving, through our mourning, and just on the February 14th weekend, just putting that love back in our hearts. And salute to Jill Scott. And I really appreciate you, Jill. And I really appreciate Cole too, man. Cole, I know I got on the long diatribe about the Fallout album review. I made a full uh episode just purely about the Fall Off album and the sales numbers that have come back in. 280 K first week sales with 113 pure sales. Like, that's big. That's big. That's big. And I mean, no matter what y'all want to say, like, Cole is still big three. He's still big three. Apology might have dropped me out the big three. Like, no, nigga. Like, that apology ain't drop you out there big three, bro. Keep your head up. Keep your chin up. Give a fuck what these niggas saying. Like, nigga, you still big three. You just ain't big me. But you still one of them ones. And it doesn't matter 1, 2, or 3. Like, and to me, I do love Cole and Kendrick. I love their style of hip hop more than I love the brand of Drake. And I hate to, like, when I'm talking about Cole, I hate to bring them other two up. I hate to bring it all up, but they just kind of coexist together. So it's just natural to speak on them because we all compare them to each other. But the pureness of hip hop, I believe Cole and I believe Kendrick exude that. I believe Drake, he crosses the genres. He crosses that balance. So to me, he's not as pure. He's not as pure as I would like for him to be. And I mean, that's okay, right? Because if he's making hip hop hits, he's still keeping the genre alive and relevant. And at the end of the day, you can't knock anybody for continuing to boost and uplift hip hop in whatever way that they seem, the right way based on their artistry. But when I think about Cole, like, I feel like I'm listening more. I'm understanding the storyline a little bit more of this 29. Like, I probably listened to it about 4 times before I truly made my album review. But just going back and hearing the let out and then bombs, hit the gas and then like lonely at the top, like I kind of understood like the true story of this 29. And this 29 is my favorite disc. I feel like I truly understood the story of this 29. Run the Train, right? Future, and then go Bunch Road Blues is just a continuation of the story, right? And when I think about this 39, when you got life sentence and then you get Only You, I feel like that's similar to Legacy and Bunch Road Blues, right? Those two kind of like love songs that are in the middle of both disc. Like, he's telling that story. Like, if you truly listen, like, Cole will really surprise you. And like, damn, it's just crazy. Like, I be hearing the reviews and I hear people saying they ain't even really listened to most of it, but from what they listen to, they ain't really like it. And it's like, you can't really get into it if you don't listen to it and you can't understand what he's trying to say. Like, and what I said on Facebook, what I said is, this probably is his best album, right? I saw Nadeska on the Apple Music review talk about this being Cole's best album, and I think I agree with her because, like, from a concept standpoint, like, there's not an album in Cole's discography like this. From a lyrical standpoint, and we talk about the off season, and maybe KOD is close, but lyrically and storytelling wise, there's not an album better in Cole's discography like this. And just, you know, a lot of meat on the bone Cause we know like a double disc is hard to deliver. Like, and when you do a double disc and you're able to deliver, like, and able to give us an hour and 41 minutes of good music and of thoughtful music, impactful music, because like shit, you relate to it. Saha saying he don't want to hear about no nigga that was a college dropout rapping. Like, bro, it's a lot of college dropouts. There's a lot of people, white, black, Mexican, Asian, that relate to this shit. Like, I don't give a fuck if you want to hear about that street shit, bro. Fuck the streets. That street shit, damn near dead. Like, you don't understand it? You from Atlanta? 21 Savage already talked about the movement. Come on, hating ass niggas. Like, bro, this is some realistic shit. Like, you want to hear about a nigga talking about selling drugs and getting locked up and putting it in a lyrical way, or you want to hear about the trueness, the genuineness of not being truly street, but dealing with people of that, elk, but also trying to navigate through life, trying to navigate through love, and trying to navigate through fatherhood, manhood, fame, celebrity, money, all those things. All those things. We got all these people talking about how to invest. We got all these people talking about how to get rich quick. We got all these conferences and seminars about how to become an entrepreneur. But like when we listen to the essence of Cole and like Kendrick and just even Drake, when we listen to their story, like we listen to their trials and tribulations about how they came into this and how they're dealing with it. And that's motivation. And those are cautionary tales that we need to be aware of, because people are not giving us those cautionary tales. People are telling us how we can get money, how we can do this, where we can invest, but they not telling us when you get money, this was going to happen, this is how you going to feel. When you come back to your city, when you bring your friends out your city, like this is what you might have to deal with. And they giving us that perspective. And shit, we go back to J. Cole and Cameron. Dipset. And basically, from Cole's lawyers, they're asking for the case to be dismissed with prejudice, and prejudice meaning that they cannot refile for this case. And Cole is basically saying like he didn't make any promises to Cam. Now, whether Cam has anything recorded or any like videos or text or whatever, we don't know. But Cole is saying like it wasn't no clear promise of what he was gonna do, but he paid for the sample, right? And I'm assuming he did what he needed to do to get that verse from Cameron on Ready 24 and to get him to talk on the intro of the offseason. But the only reason why I don't like it is because if Cam was compensated, then say he was compensated, because he's acting like he wasn't compensated. And if Cameron wasn't compensated, then he should be compensated for what he did on Ready 24 and what he did on I-95, the intro. And even if I don't like the verse of Ready 24, like, I mean, he just deserves to be compensated because he did the verse. And maybe you did pay the people that had the sample of it, that cleared the sample, but we know I'm ready. We know that's Cameron. We know that's from him, right? That's hip hop. So I'm kind of torn in between the two. So I don't know which one I really kind of like believe, or which like perspective I trust the most. And to be honest, like most of the time, the way that Cameron described it, he described Cole to the T. about indecisiveness, about like how he was feeling before and after the battle and all those things. So like Cam's story made sense. We haven't heard from Cole. Of course, we haven't heard from Cole, but Cam's story does make the most sense. And like as far as what did Cole promise him, I don't know. We don't know. But knowing Cam the way Cam is, he has some type of like recording or some type of text message that's there. So maybe he hasn't released it. Maybe it's not known to the public, but I could see that being released because I don't see Cameron like willingly and knowingly participating in something like that without getting any like signing or any confirmation like verbally or on paper. I just don't see Cameron moving like that. And the fact that he was bold enough to file the lawsuit, to me, it lets me know he has something. He has something. Otherwise, he wouldn't do it. So, I mean, I think it will look for bad for Cole if Cameron is in the right about this. But at the same time, I mean, I'm ready 24 and I-95 did give Cameron a good look, did give Cameron some exposure, right? So maybe that was what the payment was. I don't know, but I mean, it's up to y'all to decide. It's up to y'all to figure that out. It's up to the courts to do their due diligence. But it's your brother, your cousin, your uncle, your nephew, your friend, but I can't be your son as your kinfolk, William Jewell. Giving you my detail as I articulate. This is articulating. Right.